All right, guys, the babies are back inside the quail aviary. As you can see, we're hanging out here. It's a beautiful sunny day. They came back into here yesterday because the rain finally stopped after 8 inches in about 4 days. So they're very excited to be back in here, and they're on grass. You can see the geese right there. They're eating grass. They've actually gotten kind of better at it. Like when they were really little, just a few days ago, these bigger blades of grass they really couldn't get torn off. They were only able to eat the really tender stuff. Now they're eating the stuff that's a little bit bigger, and that's kind of shadowy there. So I'll try to get in a little goose cam. Goose. And very interested in the shoes as always. And as I said last video, we lost one when we had some people inside here, too many people, and one person shifted their foot and ended up basically breaking that little goose's neck. And this is why, because they love feet and they love shoes. If you keep geese, if they're able to get like on a porch or anything, if you are in the habit of keeping like Crocs or flip-flops or something on your porch, you'll need to change that habit, because there's something about shoes with these guys. Our adult geese we used to have would actually grab, especially Dorothy's flip-flops, and then take off with them. I know everybody's seen the video of the duck retrieving the flip-flop, but it wasn't like that. It was more of a theft than a retreat. But everybody's doing real good. They're definitely growing fast. Just starting to see the faintest echoes of feathers coming in on some of the wings, and still really fuzzy. And that means, unfortunately, guys, probably Sunday you're going to have to go back into the shed for quite a few days. We have another front of rain coming in, and they just cannot be soaking wet when they're this little. I'm all about the outdoor brooding. As you guys can see, they've done really well with it. They were here the day we got them in the box from the post office. The first place they came was here. They had their heat lamps under that table. They kind of hung out in that first section most of that first day and spent a lot of time under the heat lamp, but a lot of time not under the heat lamp. If they were in the wild, they do have a mother to brood them and take care of them, but they don't spend all their days underneath mom's wing. They go out and do all kinds of things. The big thing, though, is with mom and a limited number of them, she knows how to keep them from being overly wet, teaches them to preen, knows when to take them somewhere to get out, because the problem is these guys are so happy when they get wet, aren't you? You got a little wet head there, that they don't realize that they're in any danger, and they just stay wet. So that's one of the biggest concerns. But I'm just sitting here in this chair, and I try to do this a couple times a day. Again, I'm trying to build the flock bond with the geese to the ducks, and even though it's only these ducks, they'll be bond to the entire flock when we move them in, and hopefully we can do that at about 6 to 7 weeks of age. Hopefully everybody will be big enough. I don't have to worry about the cats. But a big part of why we're doing this is a balance of power on the farm, because when these geese are full grown and they stand about that tall and they're bonded with their duck flock, any worries about the cats with like baby ducks from brood, natural brood, will be over, because they're just not going to tolerate the cats, and the cats will come to an understanding really quick. Trust me, I've seen it done before. Anyway, you've seen these guys enough. I want to make sure when I stand up, I don't stand up on anybody, and we'll go take a look at what everybody else is doing today. And with all the rain, even though it hasn't rained for 2 days, the swales are still mostly full. So I bet we have a lot of our adults out and swimming. And maybe we'll take a look at the quails a little bit as we come around. So get out of here. And I'll try to move the camera less. I did a walkthrough on the property where I almost made myself motion sick watching that video. So I know this is bad, right? So I'm going to try to do a lot less of that with these walkthroughs. So the quail are doing good. If we got artificial lights in here, we'd be getting more eggs. We're probably getting, an egg out of 75% of them every day right now. But the browns are on the way. I think next week I'll be picking up the browns. And these guys are going to be headed for bacon wrap deliciousness about 6 weeks after that, when the browns are at laying age. Probably 5 weeks, because they're going to be 2 weeks old. I had the guy that hatches them for me keep them to 2 weeks. That way I don't have to really brood them at all. I wanted to show you this because people were asking me some questions. I think got some things blended together. So these are the Jerusalem artichokes just coming up. That's white fuso. and this is red fuso. So they're similar but different colors. And the reds are nowhere near as smooth as the whites, and they get a lot bigger as far as the nodules. And they'll look like a big sunflower when they come up. These are the purple sweet potatoes. People have been asking about those, where to get them. I can't remember where I got them. I ordered them about a month ago, and a lot of people that sell slips were sold out. I have some more of these in water right now. They looked really bad when I got them in the mail, so I only planted this many of them, and I'm kind of holding on to the others in case I lose some, and I'll show you some other things I'm doing with them in later videos. Strawberries, those just went in this spring. They look pretty good. Need to get some organic fertilizer on them, though. I can see they have some deficiencies. In here, we've planted comfrey, and you can see all the divots. It's just not up yet. And again, I did this inside the fence, so I have one place where these ducks and geese cannot eat my comfrey to the ground. And then this is the nutty groundnut people are asking about. This is the stuff from LSU University's research project. Just coming up. They make big tubers like the size of small potatoes, supposedly. Some of them were pretty big. But this is the stuff from LSU. People were asking about the locust trees, where I get the locust trees I plant. And I get the locust trees from a place called Coldstream Farm. So that's what's going on in here. So even though, like, technically Jerusalem artichokes and sweet potatoes are annuals, we're really kind of taking everything to a kind of a perennial approach. We can keep the artichokes going just by leaving a few in the bed every year, and the sweet potatoes just save 1 or 2 through the season, and we can make our slips, and that makes our life really easy. How you doing, Fox? Last night, something really cool. So I came out here and I heard screaming, you know, frogs, and what it was toads, and there were a ton of just regular old toads swimming in the swale. I hope they're not doing too much tadpole action in there, because that will dry up before they metamorphosize. But if I see a big cloud of them or something, I can always net them up before it dries out and put them in either the big pond or the garden pond. On the locust trees, people were asking me what the spacing is for fencing. Well, how far do you want your fence posts apart? Generally, me, it's about 8 feet. Back here, I have these trees at 4 feet because it's more of a shade thing than a fence thing. But that's totally up to you. My suggestion with locust trees for fence posts, for living fence posts, plant them closer than you want your fence posts. That way, if some of them die, you don't care. We're going around the J-hook swale here because I don't want to walk through a foot-deep, cold, nasty water. But this will be pretty much the end of it today. I just wanted to let you guys see the girls and let you guys see how much water's still in the swales even after 2 days of completely dry weather. We're still pretty much full. We got a pretty good overflow here, but you can see that sill where the overflow point is, where the ducks are standing there at the edge, is still just barely not overflowing. You might wonder how that's possible with 2 days without rain when these things are seepage systems. They're not sealed up, they're not holding water. What it is there's so much water charged up here now. Those my catchment tanks overflowed. I had a huge, almost like a pond back there. This swale's full, and this water's now moving through the ground. And we're actually capturing water since everything's downgrade this way. Remember, water always goes right angle to contour. It always comes downhill is what that means. And there's a lot of water that infiltrated up that way that's continuing to flow through the ground. It's hitting that impermeable rock layer that I have to deal with all the time. And it's ending up being, so my swales are actually staying full for longer now as the system itself has charged things up more and more. So it's becoming more and more drought resistant. I wouldn't use the word drought proof just yet, but definitely drought resistant. Another question about the locust trees was, will they break the rock up? To a degree, in 2 different ways. One, the first layer of rock here is this crumbly stuff. It's all rock, it's no dirt at all, but it's crumbly like this. They'll get into the fractures and they'll break into that. And then the second way is, you see that rock right there, see how orange that is? That's what happens when humic acid gets on limestone. So it'll actually eat away the limestone. And I think I've shown this before, but when you find ones like this that have a lot of orange on them, a lot of times, even though that's limestone, look, I can break that with my hands. So it actually softens it. Now, there's a layer below that where it can slowly over years eat into it, but it ain't gonna break it up because it's solid compacted slab. And that stuff is like, you want to go in there much more than a couple feet, you need dynamite. But yeah, that's part of the plan with the locust trees. We'll talk more about that in a future episode. But as you can see, good day to be a duck. And those of you that worry about mosquitoes and swales, with the next rain coming, it may be time to throw some mosquito dunks in here, BT little biscuit dunks. We'll throw about 3 in each swale. That'll take care of that problem. Make sure we don't have any problems with it at all. Take care.